All right, here goes.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to We Don't Know Games. For the third attempt, we are trying to make our first episode here. So you know what they say, 3 strikes and we're out. If this fucking fails, we're done with this show. So
fuck this show. Throw it in the fucking trash.
I'll go with
me and Jacob as the executives, we're just going to kill it. It's over with.
It's fucking over.
Yeah.
But like I said on the previous 2 attempts, if you need to find us anywhere else, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at WDK_network. You can also email us at WDKnetwork@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns. If you want to give us ideas for future shows, we'll be all ears. Please tweet at us, comment on Instagram. Let us know what you think. Let us know your answers to questions on this video as well. And the podcast will be available on Spotify and Apple. And all your other... Yeah, plug away.
Can I add one more housekeeping thing in there real quick?
Please, please, please. I'm sure
hey guys, if you've been checking out all the We Don't Know Network shows, if you would like to see these shows separately, you want to get them separate, you don't want to get confused, see the same logos and stuff, please like, share, review. The more support we get,
yes.
The more we get our names out there, the easier it'll be for us to differentiate these shows a little bit for you, and and really make it more networky. And that's what we're trying to do. So just please like, share, review. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yep. Awesome. So one thing I want to do with each episode of We Don't Know Games is I would like to go around the table real quick and just ask everybody what they're playing right now. That's what we used to do, Brian and I, when we used to do a game show. So, game show. Ethan, what have you been playing lately?
Ooh, a game show?
Yeah, man.
Fun. Hey, let's get enough followers so we can do like a We Don't Know game show.
That'd be pretty
That would be
fucking
sick as fuck.
badass,
Like an
actually.
interactive game show would be tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. To answer the question, you're good, dude. Yeah, just basic stuff right now. I'm not balls deep in anything as far as like story mode, anything like that. Not taking up too much of my time. But when I have the time, I'm playing Warzone. Just basic right now. I haven't played Fortnite in a while. I was heavily playing that, but I've been off that for the most part. Just really, I know. Just really playing Warzone for the most part. Probably on a nightly basis. I'll play for an hour or so at a time. But yeah, it's just to. I'm finding something that I've been thinking about wanting to replay Red Dead Redemption 2. But just haven't. I love that game. I just haven't been able to, like, I don't know, get prepared for that, I guess.
All right, Brian?
All right. Well, that was awkward silence. Y'all already know what I'm playing. PlayStation guy, PlayStation fiend. We're deep in post-apocalyptic Seattle in Last of Us 2 right now. And it's fucking dope, man. This is a game where you don't talk about a lot. Usually give a game like this like a year or so to let breathe, let people really like play it before you really like start talking about it. But it's just emotional. The whole thing's emotional. It's way more emotional than the first game was. I've said on other shows past that the first Last of Us is probably like my top 3 games of all time. This one I'm not even halfway through, and I've had to stop multiple times for emotional breaks.
Yeah.
I'm just staring at the screen like, what the fuck just happened? Like, wow. So it's dope. If you own a PlayStation, there's absolutely no reason why you should not play The Last of Us.
What's the breakdown for that? How many games are there? Is it just 2?
There's 2. This is the second.
Yeah.
There is also DLC.
Yeah, the first one had story DLC.
But I mean, it's not really story or DLC. It's like a flashback. It's
was it? I thought it was post.
Ellie,
Yeah,
it's like a side like story that Ellie went through by herself with another girl, but it's like kind of before she meets Joel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's
for those that don't know, and also me, what's DLC?
Downloadable content.
Yeah, just for our listeners that don't know what that is, you know.
Yeah, just to be
exactly
on the up and up with everyone.
Yeah,
for the
course,
listeners.
Dude.
It's
yeah,
for
exactly.
the listeners.
For them, not fucking me. I know everything. Yeah.
And just real quick, I've been thinking about jumping back into Animal Crossing. I was in it.
I didn't know you got out of it.
Sucked in it, like a black hole I was in. But I've really fallen back a little bit. It just gets really repetitive, and it's a dope game. Like I still love it, but they just dropped DLC, summer DLC, and you can swim and stuff now. So I think I'm gonna get back into it.
Nice. That's one of those things I've never just been able to fully jump in. I played it a little bit, but I just didn't catch on like everyone else did. Like I feel like if you played it, you were obsessed with that game, and my girlfriend was super into it for a little while, but I just never really I don't know. It's not that I didn't get how cool it was. It's just kind of I feel like it had like a ceiling for me of it's like, it's not gonna get much better than this.
This was my first one, and I bought it
Same.
purely off hype.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I almost got myself. It's just off hype.
So,
yeah.
So, what have you been playing, Jacob?
I'm gearing myself up to play The Last of Us Part 1. So, because I want to play both of them back to back.
I know I've given you this advice before, but I want to give the advice to listeners as well.
Yeah.
The game is hard. It just is.
I started playing it the first time. I didn't realize it was going to be that difficult. So, I'm going to play on the lowest difficulty now.
The normal difficulty is difficult. If you're not good at video games, like the normal difficulty is rigorous. It's I actually played The Last of Us in 2 parts. I started playing it, got to a part, and I couldn't beat it. So I was like, I'm done with it. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm done with it. Then I read a lot online about the game, and everybody says if you get stuck, if you just feel like you're done with it, put the difficulty on easy and enjoy the ride. And that's exactly what I did. And like I've said before, one of my top 3 games of all time.
Nice.
So,
And I mean, I like
you're not good at video games.
I know. Those things, I like difficulty in video games sometimes. Like God of War was difficult enough for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that little bit of difficulty gives you that sense of pride when you finally get through something. But I'm not going to ever pick up Bloodborne.
You don't like jump scares either.
Yeah, they feel cheap to me.
I love that.
A good bit of those.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be...
And that's why I'm missed out. I know you guys will disagree, but there's pros and cons. I think both systems, and that's definitely a pro for PlayStation is that you get more of those enriched. Is that of course? Of course, you're just gonna rip it apart. But any fucking way, you get more story enriched shit. You
enjoy Gears of War 13 and a half and Halo 16 and 3/4. You enjoy that, all right? But we're playing real games on our side.
No, and that's fair. But I never really have an argument for why I like Xbox more. Aside from that, it's what was for real. But I want to have that discourse just a little bit. Like it's not like what was better is what was gifted to me, and then who I connected with having friends. Having that, and like,
yeah, for sure.
Literally, all my friends over the past few years have played Xbox, and that's how I've created and molded these friendships was through that. And when my students, like, they'll argue, oh, what do you like more, PlayStation or Xbox? I really never have an answer. I'm like, I play Xbox because it's what I've had and what I've grown up with. But I can't say by default if it's better or not. I mean, it's not really about what's better. It's just what I'm accustomed to. But from what I've seen, that's why I'm switching to PlayStation, not necessarily just for my friends, but because of what I like more is the story-enriched games, and you don't really get that with the Microsoft exclusive. And
that's why I switched over too.
Yeah, because then that's what I want, because that's what I'm missing in my life right now. Warzone's great. It's fun. It passes the time. But it does not fulfill that hole that I want when I want a story. I don't want to talk to anyone, right, because I can be very introverted and I want to be alone, just play video games. Warzone doesn't give that opportunity. I mean, you can play solo, but it doesn't fulfill that. I want a story. I want to be a part of it. And I want to just zone everything out and get a break, not having to connect with people. And I think PlayStation exclusive games, like you're talking about, I really want to play Last of Us. Like I've always wanted to play that. I'll probably have to wait until this holiday break when PlayStation 5 comes out to play it.
Yeah, it's kind of pointless to get a PS4 right now.
Dude, one of my friends was selling one the other day for $200, and I was really close to. I know.
Yeah, that's actually a really good price.
No, it's still for sale, and I'm thinking about it when I get paid. Why not? It's $200, but then again, I'm going to spend at a minimum $500. Like that's already an expense I'm already doing. Like as soon as I'm available to, like. I've already talked to Jessica. Like it's going to happen. Yeah, 100%. Like that day, I don't care.
You just gotta budget around it, If it's passion, like it's like I liked golf, I budget around it. I'm on a very set budget right now, so I determine like if I'm going to spend this much money on this, then I can't,
Dude, if you have a steady income, no matter what it is, if you have a vice, everyone's going to have one. Whether it's shoes, whether it's video games, someone's got to have one thing. You're going to have it regardless.
Whether it's the Mary Jane.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how you guys just named all 3 of my vices: shoes.
That's why I had to get in there real quick. For me, it's a lot of whiskey. But
dude, have you been playing anything else? You haven't really said.
Yeah.
Get back to that. We kind of got.
No, you're fine.
You're fine.
Ethan talked about his whole knee being filled. So we at the house here, I've been playing a lot of Civ 6 lately.
Dude, why do you like those games?
Because I love strategy games. They're so much fun.
You drive me fucking crazy with those games.
Because I can
big ass map with fucking 2-centimeter people on it that you're fucking telling them to go in. They're building. It's not fun, Jacob.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Fuck you.
So what
It's
are you
so much
saying?
fun.
Civ 6?
Yeah, Civ 6.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's basically an empire building game
Pretty
where
much white colonization in a video
yes,
game.
that is
Oh, nice.
that's exactly what it is. Actually,
Is that what it's called? Civ 6, or is that
Civilization 6? Yeah, Civilization 6.
Figured.
But I will say you can play as like the Congo and colonize other places if you want.
Just stop it, please.
Just saying, if you want to just turn the tables on them.
He's trying to
You're not
justify
saying
it by
that.
saying fucking Congo.
No, but
Jesus
I've also
Christ.
been playing the Golf Club 2019, a little bit of FIFA because it's on EA. It's in the EA Vault now, so I just went ahead and downloaded FIFA 20.
Yeah, 2K20 is free this month.
Yeah, it becomes free on the 7th, so I'm just trying to bide my time until 2K becomes free because I'm about to go in
something
on
cool we get
2K20.
at PlayStation, Ethan, is free games. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we get them per
Xbox does that
we get
too.
2 every month.
Yeah, I get free games to Xbox. I do. I've gotten some.
No,
I
They're
have
just not as
Rocket-
good.
We get like
usually.
AAA games, not like indie games made by.
Well,
third graders
enjoy the
on
shit talking
some
now
dead
because you're only
shit.
going to get to enjoy it for like 3 more months. Then I'm not going to hear it from any. None of my Xbox friends give me shit. None of my PlayStation friends give me shit except fucking Brian. He's the only fucking.
He really
one.
is. I mean,
Dude,
we're
he's
losing
a PlayStation
every
dick
Xbox.
sucker.
Every Xbox fan is just going to turn this show off because of Brian.
Dude, every time I think of Brian and talk about PlayStation, I
I'm
think
also
of
a
that.
Clippers fan. Fuck that guy.
I think of that meme from the show Scared Straight where that guy's looking at a little kid like fuck you, dude. You're gonna do the fuck I tell you. And that's Brian talking about PlayStation. I'm like, fuck, bro. All right, jeez, I'm gonna buy a goddamn fucking PlayStation. Shit.
I promise.
Hey Jacob, I know what we want to do with the show today.
Yes.
But can I bring up a news topic that kind of dropped today that we can talk about?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
With,
Yeah.
Really, I just want to rant a little bit because I just want to tell these fucks that are complaining about next generation game prices being higher.
Mm-hmm.
Get over it, you privileged, spoiled fucks. The price of games hasn't changed since
You've always been an advocate for that.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2006, I think the price of games haven't changed.
And even $7 still is not enough.
14 years we've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
We've been paying $60. Guess what? Inflation exists. We should have been paying $80 for these games when the PS4 dropped.
Yep.
That's it. That's what it is.
Like, for good ones. Let's be 100% clear. For games like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn,
AAA
those are
games,
$80 games. We should have paid $80 for those.
If you are not willing to pay more for these games, you are pretty much saying, "Hey, game developers, hey, writers, artists, directors, animationists, fuck you. I don't respect you, and I don't appreciate your time."
I wish
that
it was
is what you
game
were telling me.
specific.
And that's what it used to be. Back in the SNES days, that's what it used to be. Games like Contra actually did cost like $75, I think, something like that. It's just the amount of work that they put into the game, the amount of hours that it took to make the game. That's how they decided on the price and the size of the game.
Yeah.
So stuff like if you were to do that
these
now,
artists, these writers, these game developers, they are underpaid and they are overworked, and that's just a fact.
so like nowadays, like something like Red Dead Redemption 2, on that old scale, that would be $100 game.
And I would pay $100 for that.
Whereas something like Madden 20, it should be $35 because they already have the fucking they already have the fucking
Let me backtrack
textures.
just a little bit. Let me explain that 2K final 2K cover dropped today. It'll be late.
The Mamba
Kobe
Forever.
Bryant, Kobe being Bryant.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mamba. He's getting the big edition. You can get a standard one, and this is what they said. This is for new generations. Standard editions will be $69.99. That's a $10 increase.
And like you said, I cannot believe that didn't happen already in the last generation or the current generation, I guess.
You should be on your knees thanking whoever that you thank for your blessings that these games are $80 to $85.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just
Like,
what it is.
it's already an expensive hobby, so I can see why people are a little upset. But people
That's
like
fair.
like we're in
And then the
PC gaming specifically.
Special editions going from $89.99 to $99.99. I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Which will be the big Kobe, like the biggest Kobe Bryant edition you get will be $100.
Yeah, and I'm honestly considering that just because
You have to.
that's something. No,
Why not?
like
That's a collector. That's a collector.
exactly like that's something that that will if you get the actual physical case of that, it's only going to go up in value over time.
Yeah.
So. So that's a huge point that Brian.
No,
it's a great point.
fair.
Because Brian and I are also in a bunch of gaming groups on Facebook and stuff like that, based off other shows that we listen to, and that was a big discussion today. And some guy was like, "Oh, well, there's no way I'm ever going to pay that much money for it." And pretty much everyone in the group was just like, "Nah, dude, we've been getting by easy."
Yeah.
So
200 comments later, he's getting fucking roasted by everybody else in the group. No, not one person agreed with him.
yeah, but let us know in the comments below, YouTube comments below, if you agree with that concept or not.
No, I
right?
think that's super fair.
If you think
If we're gonna live in the society and system we live in today, it should be supply and demand. It should be game specific because I mean, it should all be what are you willing to pay for. And like I know Brian would disagree, but like with the Red Dead Redemption 2, like Jacob said, that should be $100 game. I'm going to pay $100 for that if I know I'm getting.
No,
them
I
like
agree.
that.
With
No,
that.
he's agreeing. No, we're saying that's correct.
No, I'm talking about just Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, maybe the point I'm getting at is maybe like for Brian, he's not super into it, so maybe he wouldn't spend that money on that game, but I would. Is my point.
But he still sees the amount of work that went into it, though. I think is what he's trying
I'm
to
not
make.
saying he disagrees with my pricing. All I'm saying is maybe he wouldn't buy it, and I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes it. I got you. Yeah, 100%.
Of course, that's his rhetoric. Yeah.
What he would have done is he would have drove up here to see me and tried it out for about 20 minutes and decided on it.
Yeah, that's my point being is like you need to price your game for what it's worth because I'm not spending like let's put it this way: Red Dead Redemption 2, Madden 21 when it's coming out, I'm not paying the same price, right? If it was that way, because I'm getting the same thing with a little bit enhanced rosters from Madden 20 to Madden 21. I'll pay $35. I mean, I'm probably going to end up paying the money, $50 anyway, whatever it is. But I don't think it should be that. That's just my opinion. With a minimal amount of work, literally EA is just money hunger, so they're just getting whatever, and it's just updated rosters and not much enhanced gameplay. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They'll add 3 animations for jukes and shit or tackles and act like, it's revolutionary. No, it's not. It's still the exact same controls.
Yeah, there's problems within every system. Video game, like you're saying, they're overworked and overpaid, and that's guys who are making like Last of Us and like that. But like when it comes to 2K and man, you're putting out the same shit. You're charging us for updated rosters, but that's a whole other topic itself.
Me and Jacob have said for years that Madden and 2K should be updates, $30 updates every year. They should not.
Season pass is like Fortnite.
Brian, you were here, but I brought that up too. Like literally, make it every 3 to 5 years. Maybe make a new one. Update the fucking rosters. You're charging us $60 to update rosters. That's what you're doing.
Exactly, because I mean, just give us the good graphics on the first one. Put a full 2-year development into a game for once, and go from there.
And it's not fair to those guys who've been playing it for a while. Go ahead.
With this new pricing scale, Miles Morales will now probably $60 at launch for PS5.
Yeah,
and that's insane.
Because it's a $40 game because it's a smaller experience.
Okay,
I'm going to pay a full amount PS4 game because that's what I want, and I believe that it should be. I believe that's what it should be priced at personally. Yeah,
and it's one of those things like it's kind of beneficial because our backlogs will be smaller because you're gonna think a little bit more before you spend. X amount on a game.
I don't fucking
just buy shit left and right. No, you don't.
90s Toys R Us game show. Throw every game in the goddamn cart. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, was it grocery sweepstakes? What are they shows called? You're just throwing shit in the cart.
Money on a game. I want to play the game. I very rarely bought a game and been like, wow, I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I played for like 30 hours and I was like, what the fuck? I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. What the fuck am I doing? So,
I will say with the free games every month, that does happen with me sometimes.
I mean, BioShock was last month, 2 months ago, and I was...
Yeah, you played through it. I saw you did it. Yeah, you definitely...
How much do you guys pay a month for your live subscription for PlayStation?
I pay by the year, and it's $60.
$60 for the year. I pay every... No, it's not $60 for the... You might have got a discount.
There's no way.
I'm pretty sure that's what I paid last time.
$60 for the year?
I pay $25 every 3 months.
Okay, that's cheap.
It could be this. Well, if you pay it for the year, I think you get discounts, though, don't you?
Yeah, you get.
You do. It is
well, that's
a little
not.
bit. Yeah.
I mean, obviously not that much of a discount.
Shouldn't be that much though. I paid $9.99 a month for Xbox Live, so it equals out to $120 a year. And I think it's like $100 maybe for the year, like so $20 off, something like that. But I just have it set up monthly for the last like 5 years.
Well, the trick is though, like if they
monthly subscription anymore.
Yeah, they put PlayStation Plus on discount sometimes. So if you just buy it on the discount days, you do save a lot.
Things are really starting to get away from monthly subscriptions unseen because I mean
there's too many people. There's just too many monthly subscriptions.
And it leads people to canceling. It's just 1 month at a time. They're more guaranteed to bundle it like a couple months at a time, so they're guaranteed that price instead of just 30 days. So.
Yeah, I mean I have PlayStation Now for 1 year, and that was $60, but it's a bunch of games and you can download them directly. It's big games, but it's mostly stuff that I just missed the train on, and I want to go back and try it. So I find it worth it just based off that. But, I mean, also, it's just another fucking subscription, ultimately. Yeah.
So,
all right.
Let's go
ahead and get to our main topic today. So since this is our first episode, we want it to be kind of a get-to-know-us kind of episode.
Kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's also
Good,
part
it's
of
a
us
preface.
too.
It's
Yeah,
part of
that's how we work.
We're structured but loosely. It's like we have a backyard with a fence, do everything within the backyard.
Yeah, so the main thing I want to get through today is basically our history with gaming, kind of what got you into gaming, if you ever got out of it for a while and came back to it, what was the reason why, and your favorite game. So I know both of y'all's favorite game after, the episodes that we did before, but, obviously we need to reiterate that a little bit just so people understand exactly where we're coming from, and we can also just list off Caleb's and Jared's as well, since they'll be on these shows in the future.
You want me to go? I'll go
Yeah, Brian,
first.
you go ahead and start with this.
My favorite. You want me to do that first?
Yeah, let's start with your favorite. That's sick.
My favorite game of all time is about a little Italian plumber who travels.
Are you describing a porn?
Travels to 9 different worlds and defeats Koopas on flying ships. He also sometimes wears a raccoon suit and a frog suit. And I'm talking about Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. Came out in 1992 in America. I think it came out in 88 in Japan. Favorite game ever. It's first Mario game that introduced sliding, block throwing, and vine climbing. There's fucking flying pirate ships that you have to fucking battle on. There's warp flutes that you can switch between worlds. There's 9 worlds with I think 9 or 10 levels in each one. They're all different. They're all unique. That game came out in 92, and there's so much depth and uniqueness to every level. Every level is so different. There's levels with secrets, hidden secrets that you will never know unless you're told.
Yep.
Or you, honestly, 92, you had to be told.
Yeah, you just had to find it out. Like, your friend had to find it for you, or you had to be the one that found it for your friends,
Yeah. I think this is the most released Mario game, the most re-released Mario game. I think it's on the most consoles.
Not on the classic, though. I established that on the last episode.
Wow,
the pilot episode,
crazy.
Super Mario World is, but Super Mario Brothers 3 is not.
Because it's on the Switch NES virtual.
Yeah, it is. That's very true.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It brings me back to my childhood. It's the first game I think I ever beat that I remember beating. And it's the game I come back to the most. I probably play it once a year. I'll probably play the whole thing once a year. And I never get tired of it. I just don't. My second favorite game ever is probably Yoshi's Island. And,
love that game.
It's exactly the
Love
same.
that game.
It was so unique. It was so different. So colorful. I love Nintendo games for that. Nintendo said to have the best library of games ever. And it's hard.
And their prices never reduce because there's always demand for their games. There just is.
So yeah, I could talk about it forever. I would love maybe this year, maybe my 2020 playthrough, I'll record it, and you guys can watch how excited I get for.
Oh fuck yeah!
For Worlds, because I love that game. I love everything about it. There's not one thing I dislike about that game.
Nice. And, my sister and I are actually gonna stream our playthrough of my number 1 game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What was the other questions?
Just basically your history with gaming. Basically, when how old were you when you started playing?
Right,
what was your first console?
First console I ever got was OG Fat Game Boy, the gray one.
Nice.
I don't remember how old I was. I just remember that was it. I remember that being in my face. I had the magnifying glass adapter with the lights on it to so you could see things closely. I played.
That way you're not trying to catch the fucking lights from the street lights on the way home and shit.
Yeah. There was this game called like Xenon or or something like that. It was about a robot and.
No, you're thinking of Scientology, I think, Brian.
I played that game like crazy, and the first Zelda, which
when you're not really a Zelda guy too, which is kind of funny.
When you're 3-4 years old, you're not going to ever beat Zelda. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Even as a grown adult, there's no path to beat Zelda. There just isn't. You get in and you kind of figure it out. So
I gotta kill Ganon. That's all I know.
But when I was a kid, though, the second console that I got that I remember loving, that I fell in love with, I love this fucking thing, was a Sega Game Gear. Which is the handheld Sega system.
Oh my god, I forgot about that thing.
I love that fucking thing.
Yeah,
that's where I played the Lion King game. That
it feels like a deep
Super
cut.
Nintendo. The Lion King and those Aladdin games that are on Super Nintendo, they came out for the Game Gear first.
Because it was like the Switch of like the early '90s, kind of like it was because it was more handheld, wasn't it?
I still have it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it was handheld.
Yeah. Echo the Dolphin. Played that. That was probably my favorite game on that.
Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, just cool. And then as I got a little bit older, me and my brother, we had a Sega CD. We had a Sega Saturn. And then I remember my brother was older he was older in high school, and he bought me a PlayStation. The very first PlayStation. Him and my mom bought it for me for Christmas. And I got the first 3 Tekken games because they were all out for some fucking reason. I don't know why. And I don't know why my brother and my mom would think, hey, let's get all these games.
It was a bundle. Walmart just had them on sale.
But and then that's where my love for Tekken came, and Jacob can attest to this.
I have never beaten Brian in a round of Tekken.
I'm pretty good at it.
I've gotten one out of 3 on him. I've never gotten 2 out of 3. It's just never.
Nice. I haven't played in a while. I kind of fell out. I used to play a lot in college. That would just kind of be like my escape in between studying and stuff like that. But I love Tekken. Tekken's my favorite fighting game. I think it's far superior to Mortal Kombat.
Same. I was a Tekken guy as opposed to Mortal Kombat.
So
I put Mortal Kombat in my later years, but
yeah. And then I've been a PlayStation guy ever since, guys. PlayStation, Nintendo. I've always been PlayStation, Nintendo. I've always been super loyal to the two. And that's just kind of what I do. I mean, fuck, I got the Game Boy up there. Some PlayStation shit right here. I got some controllers and shit. That's just my shit. I love PlayStation. I used to hate Xbox. I used to really hate it. Like, I used to be that guy. But
sure.
Yeah. Now he's joking mostly when he says stuff now, but like he used to be like legit. Like back in high school, he was real. He would get on my nerves so many times because I had a 360 and he had PS3, and he would just shit on me constantly for it.
Like I'm about to be bullied into getting a PlayStation 5. Like bullied into getting this shit.
At the end of the day, if you only play shooters in sports games, which the majority of guy gamers do, it doesn't fucking matter what console you play.
Well, that was me in high school. Like that was literally all I played, so it made sense.
That's me right now, but doesn't really want to be.
Yeah. So like when I give people shit for an Xbox, at this point, it's usually people that I know only play shooters in sports games. So I can talk shit to you because you're almost ignorant to what you're missing out on in video games. You know what I'm saying? But
sure.
If I'm a PlayStation guy, favorite PlayStation game. It's either gonna be The Last of Us, the first one, or the newest God of War. I think both those games are fantastic.
I've heard those games are just amazing. I've never played them. The God of War games.
Kingdom Hearts 2 was my favorite game for a really long time.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting you to say when you told me your favorite, honestly.
But honestly, Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of ruined just the Kingdom Hearts franchise for me in general.
Really?
Just wasn't
what you wanted to be. I mean, it was like 10 years between them, so there was just too much hype, too much build up.
So, but yeah, I'm kind of done talking. I don't want to talk anymore. But me and Jacob, this is kind of something that's banded us together pretty much our whole life.
Yeah.
Me and Jacob have played video games together, mostly together, separately. When we were kids, I would go to his house and I would just watch him play, or he would be at my house and he would just watch me play, or I would be at his house and he would just be watching me play.
All the God of Wars. That's how I play. Like I didn't play any of the previous God of Wars. I just watched Brian play them, and that's why I was so into. Like I knew the lore for the newest one.
So it's something me and Jacob, it's near and dear to our hearts, and that's kind of why we wanted to just do a games show. Because obviously this is an intro show. We'll get into it, when we start talking about news for real and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, this is what we're passionate about mostly is video games.
Yeah.
And, I want to be a
video games and college football, baby.
Yeah. I want to be a black voice in video games that I don't think is there.
Yeah, that's sick.
And that's what I'm passionate about. I think that a lot of black people play video games. I think a lot of black people enjoy nerdy shit. And there's the black stigma that doesn't allow them to express that. And I would love to be the bridge for that. That's
anime is being accepted more and more. And,
of course. That's what I was going to point at.
Unless it's 2K, like it's just not quite as accepted yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm done. I'm done, guys.
Cool. You want to take it away, Ethan?
Yeah, man, for sure. I'll get to my favorite at the end. But to begin with, I mean, I started, contradictorily what we were talking about, but it started in 1998, I believe. Before I moved to the beach, I was living in central North Carolina, and my dad brought home, we were talking about it earlier, but like a briefcase from work with the original PlayStation in it. It came out in 95, but I didn't start playing really until 98. And he brought, I think it was Frogger and Spyro, the first video games I ever played.
Dude.
I was like 6 years old.
Both of those.
Yeah, I was like 6 years old, but I never really like I played them and I played them thoroughly. But the one that really got me hooked in, because there were intervals in my life where I was in games, out of games. But the last 3 or 4 years, I've heavily been into it. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was the first game that molded me into gaming. It brought me into it. It literally set the tone for my music interests. I wouldn't listen to hardcore punk stuff without that playlist, that set list. It meant a whole lot to me as far as the features and gaming goes. And I'll get to my favorite game in just a minute, but I didn't love that game for the story because it really didn't have one. It was for the features, what I could do. I could monotonously live this life as a skater playing because like I had talked to you guys about previously before, I was a chunky kid and I wanted to skate but never could. It just wasn't, my body wasn't set up to do that. So I lived through that through Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and it really set who I am fully. And then I think that next year my dad got us a Sega Dreamcast in 99, I believe. And I played Sonic heavily on that. And then it was up until about the mid-2000s when I got an Xbox, and I kind of never looked away because I had the Xbox, but my brother had a PlayStation 2, so I played the PlayStation 2 heavily throughout its whole entire time. And then the 360 came. Yeah, absolutely. I love PlayStation 2. Talking hours-wise, I probably put more hours on a PlayStation 2 than any other console, probably combined. Oh, yeah. I put so much of that Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, put so many hours into both of those games. And I played all the Tony Hawks up to American Wasteland, and after that, not irrelevant. But I put a lot of time on those, and then the 360 came out, and that's when I spent my later years, as far as high school going into it, but not to digress too much.
Xbox had us in the 360 days. Xbox had
Oh,
Sony
yeah.
and then
Well, it was a $600 price tag, man.
Yeah.
I had to buy it myself. I didn't have that.
I mean, Sony caught up towards the tail end, but
they actually surpassed
that's one
it.
thing I'll never forget. Nostalgic. Yeah,
Sorry.
For nostalgic purposes, 360 shaped my high school career for sure. We were talking about Jacob yesterday with Call of Duty World at War. When I was playing Modern Warfare 2, I got that game by accident, World at War, and I fell in love with it. The zombies, all that. I mean, I created friends from that game that I still talk to this day. I actually found I was good at a game. I was decent at it, and I put a lot of time into it. I put months into that game, months of playing time into that game over a couple of years, and it definitely shaped my love for video games. Now, I was out of video games for a little bit while I was in college. I was broke. I had a system. I think I just had the 360 before the one came out. I think the one came out 2016, 2015, something like that. But while I was in college, I had the 360, and I played it, but nothing heavily. I would go to the Red Box and get games and stuff like that, but nothing too intense. Until about 2016, I've been playing pretty heavily. I stayed up to date on everything and all that. But I digress. My favorite game of all time, we talked about this yesterday. It's not many people's favorite game of all time. It's just for me, but it's Skate. That came out in 2007, and it's just my favorite game. I put so much time into that game, and my love for Tony Hawk transcended into this game. And there's only one sole reason.
Skate was like the ultimate upgrade to Tony Hawk. It was okay, you
and
have
Tony,
this, but here is this now.
Yes.
Yeah. It was like a generation jump almost, because physics were all of a sudden a thing.
Only because of the features. That's it. Skate didn't get me because of the music. It didn't get me because of the story. There was barely any story. You took you would do things with a photo shoot. There was really no storyline. The only reason that was the game upgrade from Tony Hawk was because of the feature, just because of the analog stick. That was it. In Tony Hawk, you're pressing X to jump, square to flip, circle to grab, and then you're doing triangle to grind.
Yep.
And then in Skate, it was poetic. I said this to Jacob. It is fucking poetic because your analog stick is doing the poetry for you. I know it sounds cheesy, but that's how I felt, right? You grinded everything was an analog stick. You didn't have to worry about these buttons. The buttons just is not poetic, right? It's not fun.
It's arcade. It's
just bam, bam. And Tony Hawk was great, but there's no excuse except
I cannot wait for the Tony Hawk remaster so I can just.
Oh, 100%.
God, yeah.
But I don't say there's no way that they don't use the analog feature. There's no way. I don't think they're going to go back
to use it, but I need to make sure. I hope they keep the arcadey feel.
Wait,
for
you
that.
think the Tony Hawk remasters will use analog sticks?
They better. They better.
No way, dude.
Dude, there's no.
They might do a classic control system though. They might do both control systems.
I think there should be an option.
Yeah.
They've admitted though that
you're talking about developing a whole new feature for a game. With remasters, they just have to up-res, maybe you do some graphics, but the
remakes are not remasters.
Can you call it a remaster though when it's 20 years later? They're pretty much starting from scratch.
No, it's the first 3 games. It's a remaster.
Yeah, but the same way Spyro was a remake, they remade the game. They didn't just take the old game and up-res it.
First
They
of all,
remade the games.
There's no Spyro remake out.
Yes, it is.
You're right. That's Reignited, but that's still the same 3 games.
It's the exact.
No. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
They're remaking it with new systems.
I get it.
Gotcha.
It's the same game, but it's rebuilt. I got it.
Yes, like exactly. You got it.
I understand. Like, I'm saying I will be upset. Like, if it's just the 4-button press, because Tony Hawk had not Tony Hawk himself, but it's admitted that they failed in comparison to Skate. That's why Skate sold so many units, because like that's the most close to skateboarding you get. Skateboarding is not something that is point blank, right? It's fluid. It goes up and down. It has this movement. So when you play this arcadey game, it's not fluid. It's just like
EA didn't even announce the new Skate until after
Tony Hawk
was like, "Hey, we're coming out with a new one. Like, you're getting these remasters and a new one." And then EA was like, "Oh, Skate's coming. Skate's coming.
Please God, we have no footage. We haven't even drawn anything yet, but it's gonna happen."
Yeah. I'll say emotionally, passion-wise, Tony Hawk, like, that shaped a lot of who I am for sure. But what's the better game? It's not really close. Skate's the better game. That's why it's my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's kind of objective there, because you're thinking about what's the most related and comparable to skateboarding, and it's really skate. And there's not much of an argument. And but like Tony Hawk set the tone for the environment, the theming, the message that it gives, the feeling that you get, the music, all that nostalgic feel. But you're looking at mathematics and logistics and physicality. So that's why Skate's my number 1. We talked about the list yesterday. Skate's my number 1. Tony Hawk's Underground is my second favorite of all time. For the storyline, for that emotional feel, not for the features that it has that Skate does. And that's why Skate will always just be superior to me, for me. And I hate it, because I want to pick Tony Hawk. I want to pick that, but I can't.
Can we all agree that SSX Tricky is
one of the best games of all time?
Love that game.
The superior big sports game
than
all of those games?
EA big,
if you tell me right now that SSX Tricky is better than Tony Hawk and Skate, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not. No way. I put so many hours in that.
So much fun.
Dude, I'm telling you, my family would not be as close as we are right now if it wasn't for SSX Tricky, dude. Like, literally, every game is so inclusive, bro.
What is EA waiting for? What do they have to lose? I sound like Trump. What do you have to lose? Your company is shit. It's going down the drain.
And also, at that point too, also just announce the Mass Effect fucking remasters as well, because they told all their investors, we're doing those again. Like, don't worry, it's gonna come out before next March.
Yeah, but then they came out with Mass Effect, Armageddon, and it was dog shit. So...
Andromeda. Well, honestly, I liked it, but I hadn't played the other ones before, and now now that I've seen, I know more about the original 3, I can understand why people are mad. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and get on mine. So, like Brian, my first console was the Big Fat Game Boy as well. It was actually given to me by my neighbors, who they got a new one, so they just gave me their old one. First. Yep, he's got it on the wrist. The first game I got on there was Pokemon Red. And same thing I mentioned yesterday, I fucking 100%ed that my first playthrough. Fucking went ape shit. My sister got blue, so I ended up with the entire roster. And it was just one of those things
the
like...
The fact that the original 3 Pokemons were on the Fat OG,
it's insane.
Like, it's like I knew that, but that just blew my fucking mind.
Dude, it's fucking crazy.
I never had the Fat OG. I played it. Probably almost into the 2000s when my older cousin had it, but that's when I was playing the Game Boy Color. I remember I had that in my pocket strapped. I was strapped with the Game Boy Color at all times. The purple translucent one.
On me.
Dude, I had that all the time. Did you have that same one, Brian, the purple translucent one?
The green one, that's what I had.
Okay, sick.
I had that green one.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, mine was the one that was...
I thought you had gold back in the day, Brian.
We talked about this yesterday.
I don't have gold anymore. I have silver.
Okay, gotcha.
Silver was the one that got me into Pokemon. Yeah, I missed, I never played the red or blue until after the fact.
Let's go. Yeah, nothing beats that first time playing through, without a book, And I think that's what really got me, to love video games, honestly. Because, I had played Super Mario before that, but it was, my sister's stuff. It was my parents' stuff. It wasn't really mine. And Super Mario World is one of my favorite games of all time. I love that fucking game. It's just going through and fighting all of the Koopa kids. It's just, to me, that's that's my ultimate Mario experience.
Yeah.
Right? But something about Pokemon Red is, as a kid, obviously we all know Pokemon is baby's first RPG. Really got me into that kind of games. but then I never came back to it until I got older because I just played sports games. I got a PlayStation. My first game on the original PlayStation was like the first NASCAR game on there.
Yeah.
I was white trash.
Heat
I'm still
or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm still white trash, honestly. But
was the Confederate flag on the game cover?
it was on every
God.
car and actually in the back, just
That's
reminding
insane.
me.
Hey, did you see this fuck is about to race his Trump 2020 NASCAR?
Oh
at,
my God.
The next Brickyard, I think it is.
I'm surprised
Who?
actually because Barstool is
dark
getting
skin,
removed
so-
as well. So, but
Who the fuck is it? Who's the guy doing it?
Dude,
it's probably nobody.
I
It's
have
probably someone that won't even
I don't
qualify or
know.
get
All right.
fucking. They'll probably DNF in the first 5 laps anyway.
Literally.
Don't let
Trump
Bubba Wallace-
2020.
Don't let this Bubba guy
Exactly.
fool y'all. Black people ain't watching NASCAR. We
Yeah.
don't care. We don't care about it.
And if you hear
We'll
him,
turn it
it's
on the
just
background,
like
just give him the.
representative of everyone in the fucking South. Hey, y'all, my name's Bubba Wallace.
No, but I mean, between I guess maybe the ages of like 7 to 21, basically, all I really played was sports games.
Was with myself.
Exactly. I mean,
Simultaneously.
I would play stuff like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Like I remember my 3rd grade birthday party. Brian and I stayed up all fucking night with a group of friends playing that. Obviously, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like
Also
Yeah, I
had
played
these
Pokemon Snap heavily.
Jacob also had these weird imported Dragon Ball Z games from
yes,
Japan.
I had
And he
a
this
device
little
on the back.
adapter- Yeah, this
The
little
Mad
adapter
Catz
that plugged
device,
in
yep.
to the back of the PlayStation, so it could read the Japanese discs.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fucking wild. We were in 3rd grade.
Yeah, we were playing-
Got these things.
Dragon Ball GT was on there.
That's
Final Bout,
insane.
fucking Final Bout 22. Like, and also, obviously we love the Budokai games and shit like that.
Yeah.
but,
That's crazy.
Honestly, I only played stuff. I never played story games until I got older, except for Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
My sister and I, the PlayStation 2 was the first console that we spent with our own money. My sister and I, we put our money together, bought the PlayStation. Our mom said, well, you guys bought the console, I'll buy you your first game. And I talked about this with Ethan on the show that we had to scrap yesterday about I was wanting like Madden 2002 or whatever the fuck it was. And Emily was like, no, we're not going to fucking buy a sports game as our first game. And I can't remember what she wanted. I think it was, it's not Fable because that's Xbox, but it was something
And we were
stupid.
just like, bam, tough acting Galactus.
Exactly. So eventually we settled on Jak and Daxter, and it was the first game that Emily and I sat side by side since Super Mario World and just played through together.
Yeah.
Handed
So
off
got
the controller,
yelled at by Emily for 15 hours straight.
and she got yelled at by me. But that's actually a game that her and I we go back and we replay once a year. We're gonna do that again this year. We're gonna stream it this year, and I'm gonna put it up on the YouTube in chunks. Just kind of like highlight reel it. But it's
Nice.
one of those things. I love that game. 2 and 3 aren't anywhere near as good in my opinion. 2 was like GTA, but Jak and Daxter, which was kind of it was fun, but
Just not.
it
necessarily
was what it
first.
was. And Jak
What are they
3 was
doing?
forgettable. And then they made a fucking racer like it was fucking 1995 again, and everything had to have a racer game. But honestly, Jak and Daxter, it was like the first experience with any kind of open world. Loved that shit. But yeah, basically after that, it was just NCAA football, FIFA. I mean, I remember one time Brian and Trevor were standing in my room asking me if I wanted to go out that night in high school. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to sit here and play FIFA. And Brian turns to Trevor and goes, listen here, Trevor. Jacob's parents let him do whatever the fuck he wants. Because the only fucking thing he wants to do is sit here and play FIFA. I had like no restrictions on me in high school because, that's what I wanted to do. I like playing sports games and shit like that. Brian and I used to go head to head on NCAA all the time. I remember we did the midnight
played
pickup.
NCAA 14,
more
man.
on that than any
Bring it back.
game.
Yeah.
I've played NCAA with Jacob
Mm-hmm.
probably more than any game I've ever played, and probably more with him than I've ever played any other game with anyone.
Yeah.
If you ever need a reason why capitalism sucks, just think about fucking NCAA, and that's why we don't have that game because of fucking money. So,
Seriously.
Or I can
Seriously.
think about how my favorite sports franchise of all time ended with a Michigan fuck on the cover.
God,
So
yeah.
that's awesome.
what was his name? I'm gonna get it wrong.
Bernard Robinson.
I always say DeMarcus. I always say DeMarcus.
I keep
Denard
thinking of
Robinson.
Monty Edwards, but that was the quarterback from App State back in like 2006.
Yeah, Brian, that really's got to suck for you. Holy fuck, yeah. The last one, dude. He's gonna go down in history.
God.
He's got to feel real good though, dude. He was the last cover of a video game. That's probably gonna be for the foreseeable future, at least for another 4 or 5 years. I'm not seeing another NCAA.
arguably the worst NCAA. I didn't buy the game.
Dude, I did, and I sold it like an
I'm
idiot.
not even the least bit surprised. Oh, it was insane. My friends, I'm in a college football podcast, Patreon or whatever, and so some of my friends still play that game to this day. Like literally today, they were playing NCAA 14 on their PS2.
Yep. I mean, I have a copy of, or PS3 is what 14 was on.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I have NCAA Football 06 for the PlayStation 2. I bought it on Amazon. It was crazy expensive for what it was, but it was so still in the shrink wrap. But used copies of NCAA 14 go for $80 fucking at GameStop. It's so rare. And now we have insane. With Madden 21, I sent you guys the list the other day, the teams that they're going to put on there. Why the fuck's Nebraska on there? Like, I get it, like their legacy, but like no one really likes.
They're taking a blue blood.
School at Ohio State said no. That's probably why.
That's probably exactly why. Actually, yeah, that's no one knows. Like Ohio State wasn't on there. What the fuck? That's a huge school.
It blows on that Miami's on there. They're thinking of blue bloods though, not relevant teams now. Blue blood teams, and like all the teams on there, I think were blue blood. I mean, Florida, I'm glad we're.
Notre Dame wasn't on there though. I mean, like.
No, yeah.
Poke 'em.
Yeah, Texas, like, dude, definitely blue blood because, like,
I love that episode still.
Because Jacob, I know you follow Elite College Football. Shout out the best Instagram page for college football. Super sick, but everyone was roasting them because, like, everyone roasts Miami now. Everyone roasts Texas because. I mean, they're blue blood teams, but they're just trash now. I shouldn't say Texas is trash. They're
Texas
whatever.
Yeah, they're walking a fine line from trash.
This is my argument. This is my argument. In 2018, 2019 season, they beat Georgia in a bowl game. That's a topic for sports, but
whenever college football's up back a couple weeks out, like when we're sure that we have it coming back, because we're not 100% sure we're going to get college football this year. We need to do a big episode about that.
Playoffs, apparently fumbles don't exist in officiating.
God, that was
anymore.
So fucking dumb.
Yeah, if you're listening, you care about sports.
Let's just get off that before I throw this fucking computer against the wall.
But as Ethan was saying, if you guys care about sports, we have a show called We Don't Know Sports. Ethan is our main host for that show, and we will be putting episodes out on, was it Tuesdays that we agreed on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our new schedule will be coming out next week. We'll put that up on the Instagram once we get a good graphic for it, and we'll put it up on the Twitter as well. The last thing I wanted to say about my gaming history is just that Brian talking shit about Xbox. I was Xbox 360 all through high school. Mm-hmm. I actually bought the Xbox One whenever I moved back to North Carolina back in 2013 is when I bought it.
I said, what the fuck were you thinking?
And he was right. I mean, honestly, I played. I didn't realize that I was over that Gears of War, just Madden, just FIFA kind of thing. And my mom actually got me a PlayStation 4 for Christmas out of nowhere. I did not expect this at all. Black Ops 3 edition.
I think that's where the argument lies, is what you like and what you want. But if, and I'm a avid Xbox player, and I have been for the last decade. But if you tell me you play Xbox for specific games, you're objectively wrong. I mean, there's no way that you can do that. I mean, I get the argument maybe it's what you're used to. You like playing you like the chat better, whatever. That's a little subjective. You like the Xbox Live features better. You like the store setup, whatever. I get that.
Yeah.
But for game-specific games, that's objectively you're wrong. Gears of War. That's really it. I mean.
And for me, I have a gaming PC because I love strategy games. I love the Total War series and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
I talked about yesterday. That's the only other thing I played besides sports games was strategy games. I fucking love those.
I got my PC, guys. My PC.
But no, what I'm saying is though, there's no need to have an Xbox if you have a gaming PC.
I spent my mortgage on my PC, guys.
Graphics card or a new car.
It's a PC. It's built like a time machine, and I spent all my fucking money, and I don't have a girlfriend because she left me because I spent all my money on my PC. It lights up, though. It's got cool colors.
Dude, it's got rainbow colors, and I got this cool rainbow keyboard, and then also when I move the mouse, it shoots rainbows out of it because it's my PC, and it's cool.
And even when I'm not playing and I'm at work, it still does a rainbow color because it's cool all the fucking time.
I can check the Ring camera. It's still lighting up.
Literally, so fucking lame.
I do have a big red line light up across my...
I hate PC players, dude. At least we can all come together, and I hate fucking PC players so much.
I'm fine with it. I cannot WASD move for the life of me.
I'm fine with it.
I cannot move with the keyboard because my left hand just does not have the fucking coordination.
Dude, I can't. I've never got into it.
I plug if I need to, I plug a controller into my PC. So there's no way I'm ever going pro.
I mean, back in middle school, I played a lot of games on the PC, but not necessarily PC games with the WASD. I would do the mouse games, shit like that. I spent a lot of time on that, but none of it
I mean, Brian used to love
Counter-Strike came out and shit, that was super
Oh
Pop it
yeah,
on
I can
PC.
never do that one for some reason.
Yeah.
I cannot aim with a mouse.
Dude, and I just hate the graphics. I'm not. That's definitely more like you don't play really for the experience. You play for the competition, really, in PC gaming, pretty much.
Brian used to love Zoo Tycoon, or no, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I mean, that used to be
Okay.
Because
one
you
of
can
his.
play Roller Coaster Tycoon on Windows 95. I don't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that's
$1,000.
it was like either Solitaire or Roller
Yeah,
Coaster
like I played
Tycoon.
Sims. I would play Sims on the computer.
Yeah.
You don't need that. God.
Hey Brian, last I checked, you used to love Flash games. Little game with the guys skiing down the hill.
Like, I don't get that. Why would you just fucking buy all these different parts for a PC when you can literally buy a fucking PlayStation or Xbox at one fucking go? I don't gotta build it my goddamn self. I'm gonna build my Xbox from my hands. Let me buy the pieces.
One of the big arguments is that ultimately, like with Steam sales, that it becomes cheaper. But my only issue is that because you can't play strategy games, certain games are only on PC. Like the Total War series, I bought this fucking $1,200 PC that I was going to build myself, but it ended up being more expensive to build myself because of deals with.
I'm not gonna lie, though,
dealers,
not just
but
because I'm
that's
talking to you,
a
but
thing.
yours is kind of sick though. Your setup.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
got
it
some
is
setup,
pretty sick.
yeah. I got my own little nook.
It's actually much harder to build my own computer because I can't read. So.
I got the instructions down. I was like, oh Jesus,
Can't fucking read.
this I didn't realize there was reading involved in mechanical work.
I play Xbox, so I just turn it on.
All right.
All right, guys. Anything else you guys might add? I know we're kind of going a little bit over what we expected to today, so trying to keep it short today if we can.
Nah, man, yeah, that's it. We talked about everything. The build up, all that.
Yeah. So
our regular show will be, we'll go over some news for the week, and then we'll have like a main topic. The main
of course.
topic might
Yeah.
not even be relative to what's going on in the week. It'll just be like a main game.
Exactly.
Topic, so.
There's always
Yeah.
a format, though. Like our format today, we talked about the news, talked about current events, and then we got into what constructed our video game
Whatever
intro.
we're
So there's
playing.
always some sort
Yeah.
of format.
Exactly. There will always be some structure to these shows. The only show that will not have
Spider.
structure are probably the ones that Brian and I are going to do just together, and the Bone Zone episodes, which are going to be a shit show.
Yes.
And that's just one of those fun to put up on YouTube.
Exactly.
Fucking around
Every
kind of episodes.
WDK will have a form of structure.
Oh yeah, that is the plan. And like I said, we'll put those schedules up. I do believe. Excuse me. Today is Thursday, so we're moving forward. WDK Games will be coming out on Thursdays. We'll try and keep this one consistent. I cannot remember for the life of me off the top of my head what the other ones are, but we'll get to you. We'll get those schedules out. Just follow us on Twitter at WDK_games. Same on Instagram. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to talk to us about, anything you want to correct us about, we'll look at it, maybe talk shit about you on the next show. If you're correcting us, email us at wdknetwork@gmail.com. And we will put all these descriptions in, or details in the description. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't know what it is. So if I remember, I'll put it in the description as well. So that'll do it for us
I
today,
think you
guys.
hit everything.
Yeah, I hope so. Fuck it. All right, that'll do it for us, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.